All right, so in this video, we're going to be reacting to a panel of people discussing if violence against men is okay.
When trying to bring about significant change, when is aggression and violence a better option than assertiveness, strong arguments, and modelling the behaviour you expect of others?
Ashton?
When none of that other stuff works.
It's as simple as that?
Yep.
I have a great answer for this that a lot of people do not like. I want patriarchy to fear feminism. And there is a chapter in my book on violence. There is a chapter on my book about white women who voted for Trump and white women who accept crumbs from patriarchy because they allow their whiteness to trump their gender. I'm fully aware of this. But at the end of the day, even those white women have to recognize that nothing protects them from patriarchy. Nothing. For me, as a feminist, the most important thing is to destroy patriarchy. And all of this talk about how if you talk about violence, you're just becoming like the men. My question, so your question is a really important one, but I'm going to answer it with another question.
And we can immediately say this is exactly why feminism is poisonous, because it incites this competition and conflict between the sexes. Now, when she says the patriarchy, who exactly is she talking about? You know, why is it women against the patriarchy? And then when we say that word, who is that? Is that me? Is that your fellow brother? Is that the fellow guy down the road, your neighbor, and so on? So it puts you in this state of fear and, oh my God, we have to always look out as women because the patriarchy is all around us, but we have to even understand who that is.
How long must we wait for men and boys to stop murdering us, to stop beating us, and to stop raping us? How many rapists must we kill? Not the state, because I disagree with the death penalty, and I want to get rid of incarceration, and I'm with you on the police.
Okay, so she did kind of clear it up for us. It's a lot of men and boys. It's crazy that she would put little boys in the mix when she's talking about that, and she says it as if every man is out here doing this. And this is why it is terrible for the nervous system and the opportunity for relaxation that, you know, women should be experiencing. They're not going to experience it when these are the people who are programming their minds.
So I want women themselves. As a woman, I'm asking, how many rapists must we kill until men stop raping us?
So, Mona, them's fighting words. Spectator Australia is already saying Mona's promoting violence. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm saying that violence has been owned by the state. That violence has been given by the state to its police. That violence has been allowed to continue, unchecked mostly, by men, especially privileged men. So exactly how long do I have to wait to be safe?
Okay,
and when I say to be safe,
Murray,
there's a hierarchy of safety too. Obviously, people of colour, disabled people, etc.
Murray, what do you think of that answer? How do you feel about this?
I guess there's two things. One is there's a lot of smashing and destroying.
Yes.
But what's the alternative? So
the alternative is a world where I'm not raped and murdered.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. That's a good start. The other thing is too, if you think about bullying begets bullies. So violence begets violence is what I'm seeing. So
well, let me bring Jess in on that about the, violence begets violence.
Well, it's interesting. I think if anyone's shocked by what Mona's suggesting, you just have to look back to history and a certain faction of the suffragettes in the early 20th century. They used violence. They thought what they were fighting was a civil war between the sexes. They smashed windows. That one suffragette actually went up to a young Winston Churchill in 1909 and whipped him with a horsewhip at a railway station. I mean, there was... Someone likes that. Winston Churchill did a lot.
Hey, I love that. So healthy. We're talking about hitting, whipping, and being violent towards people, and then we're cheering about it. So, the thing about feminism is that you don't have to worry too much because they would just show their colors. It's actually okay. It's on display. I'm not telling them to applaud violence against people, and I would never do that. Even the thought of saying something like that towards women makes me sick. But with feminism, they actually encourage and, push women into wanting to silence incite violence against their fellow man, because we're forgetting that we are the team. We're supposed to be complementary, but this isn't what they encourage. But let's continue.
A lot of shitty things. So, that was, for a faction, a violent movement. And the only thing that stopped their militancy was World War One. If it hadn't been for World War One, there's no telling what might have happened, because they were fighting for their lives.
And World War One was violence.
Hang on, Mona.
World War One is violence by men against men.
Mona, hang on 1 second. Let's have.
It's never the ideal. It's never the first thing to go to.
Violence from men against men. But when those men were on the battlefield, you know what they were thinking? They were thinking, I want to do my best to make sure that I ensure the safety of the women and children, because whenever there's chaos, that is what men think about. We always think women and children, just like when a plane crashes and 100 people die and 31 of those people that died were men. We don't say that. We say 69 of them were women and children.
But, slave rebellions. I mean, there are many causes where people have resorted to violence as a way to finally break through and get heard and achieve what we need. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
If I can just jump in, Mona. So I'm thinking, I just want to bring this conversation back to the land that we're on, Australia, whatever. We live in a colonial state, and I think for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, we are living in a constant state of duress. We experience violence from so many different types of systems. We experience it interpersonally. When you say violence begets violence, there's something it's almost sounding like it's like a level playing field, which it's not. It's absolutely not. So I think if you're defending yourself, then I think I'm surprised. I wonder what our kind of tipping point in Australia is going to be when people are going to start burning stuff. I look forward to it.
Mary's question was when is it better offer than assertiveness, strong arguments, and modelling the behaviour you expect of others?
I think, who's that bloody quote, appealing to your oppressor?
Asata Shakur. It's throughout history, no one has ever gotten their right or their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of their oppressor. It's fascinating for me that men constantly ask, you don't want to become like us. Don't use violence.
Let's know to finish.
So I'm thinking about, in a colony, we live in a colony. We've tried for 230 plus years to appeal to the colonisers' morality, which just doesn't seem to exist. I think violence is okay, because,
And the crazy thing is, what violence are they going to do? They speak as if they're so big and bad and scary and entitled, actually. Seeing a panel of women talk about oppression is one of the most ridiculous things on planet Earth, because they are literally the most protected being on the planet. Any race, touch the white woman. Go and do it, and you'll see how the people that they say they want to smash will come to their aid. But, what violence are they really thinking that they're going to do? It just doesn't even make sense.
If someone's trying to kill you, there's no amount of, but I'm really clever, I'm really articulate. No amount of that is going to save you. So
It's a tricky stuff. I think that's a really good moment to go to our next question. You're watching a special broadside edition of Q&A with a panel of strong women, as you can see.
Anyway, so I think it's pretty ridiculous, actually, and it's very, very entitled. Just the fact that they can speak on that panel is a right given to them, an opportunity given to them by men, by the patriarchy that they think that they hate. It's absolutely ridiculous, and violence against your oppressor. Men are not oppressing you. I'd actually argue that men like to give women more considerations, rights, and just creating a world which is soft and sensitive enough to appeal to their feelings. That is literally what's going on whilst they're complaining. Doesn't mean that bad things aren't happening, But that's not the general demographic. Those are exceptions of criminals and so on. And that's what we should be focusing on. But they don't do that. So anyway, I want to know what you think. Comment down below. Let Reemus know. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.